Welcome into York Lions Stadium for the second match of this men's and women's soccer doubleheader. The men's match between the York Lions and the Waterloo Warriors. Both these teams starting out the season 2-0-0. It's been perfect so far for these teams. The York Lions getting started with a big 6-0 win over the Windsor Lancers. They followed that up with a 3-0 win. The Waterloo Warriors doing the double over their Kitchener-Waterloo rivals, the Laurier Golden Hawks. And so something has got to give tonight. Ben Steiner alongside Alexander Gonge-Ruzik for tonight's broadcast of the York Lions and Waterloo Warriors, which should be a good one here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a top-of-the-table clash, and we always love those. It's early days, of course, but two strong teams who have got out in the gates flying, two dominant victories on both of their regards. Like you mentioned, I mean, hey, maybe that means that there's a tie on the cards, but I don't think that'll be the case. This should be an exciting, upright matchup, one that could potentially be an early playoff preview for what's to come later this year in OUA West soccer action.
Of course, both these teams, 9 goals and 10 goals. The offenses have been flying for the York Lions and the Waterloo Warriors. The Warriors conceding twice on this season against the Golden Hawks, who don't look to be a force in the OUA this season. And top of the table right now in the OUA West, the York Lions and the Waterloo Warriors. The Guelph Griffins, last year's OUA champions, they're also in this conference at 1-0. This is the third match for these two teams, looking to continue their perfect season. And the OUA Athlete of the Week, Sebastian Guerreri, is leading the line for the Waterloo Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of firepower really on both sides. I think it's going to be a game where, hopefully, knock on wood, no commentators curse. There's going to be goals. I think you saw it again with, 10 goals there in the first two games for Waterloo, 9 for York. So lots of talent on both sides. Really. I'm excited to see what sort of tactical matchup we get as well. Lots, for Carmen Isako and Mark Wharton on both sides to tactically try and break each other down, because it feels like this could be a bit of a chess match, but one with a lot of goals in it.
Starting lineup for the York Lions: Alessio Carbone in net, Sammy Sebaduka at left back with Jaden Vilfort and Milo Djurgic. Djurgic scored last match off of a set piece, and Jayton Pabla also finishing off the back line for at the back. And then it's a 4-3-3 for Carmen Isako of the York Lions. Isaac Bradbury, Joey Mack, and Agostino Principato make up the midfield trio. And then the front three, the trident up top: Matthew Mollicola, Justin Hendricks, and York United FC CPL U Sports draft pick this past year, Soji Olatoy. And Olatoy looking for another good performance after a solid game last time. He did miss a penalty last time, but back in the starting lineup, one of those crucial players he'll be playing on this near side is the York Lions in brand new white strips. Attacking from right to left on your screen, the Waterloo Warriors in their trademark yellow with the black trim, going from left to right as Sebastian Guerreri. 7 shots in the last game, 2 goals. He scored twice in every game this season. Can he continue that outstanding form against a York Lions team that is yet to concede? We'll see what storylines unfold here as the Waterloo Warriors visit the York Lions on a beautiful Thursday night here at York Lions Stadium. And we're off here at York Lions Stadium. The Waterloo Warriors attacking right off the hop. Is that one taken on the far side, but controlled. By Jayton Pabla on that far side, getting some early touches. And Alessio Carbone starting between the sticks for the third game. The former NCAA D1 soccer player with the Oakland Grizzlies, making a transfer over to the York Lions and finding success so far with 2 clean sheets. As Joe Mack controls in the midfield. That one dropped back, and as Isaac Bradbury loses out, and Mack once again on the ball. Joe Mack chips that one over the top to Sammy Sebaduka, pushing up from the left back position. Sammy Sebaduka looks to go through the crowd out to Agostino Principato, sends that one across, and Vilfort just taken down. And a frantic pace to start this one as that ball skips out of play. And the York Lions with possession just a minute into this one. Bradbury been exceptional so far this season, pulling the strings in the midfield. Over to Jaden Vilfort, making his return to the starting 11 after missing the last match. As Semi Sibaduka attacks up the left-hand side. Sibaduka tries to get around his man, brings it down to the touchline, sends that in, and easily handled by Jackson Vinci, the fourth-year netminder.
So far looks to be dueling 4-4-3 or 4-3-3s, pardon me, for both York and Waterloo. So touched a bit on that tactical battle off the top. It's going to be interesting to see who can really impose themselves on this game. Of course, York is the home team. That's always going to want to be their goal. But as we've seen with Waterloo's strong record, this is no easy team that's coming to visit. As we're seeing here, they're going to want to impose themselves. But equally, York, as we saw in the women's game, coming out with the high press as they look to make Waterloo uncomfortable in their 4-3-3. But I think that's going to be one heck of a midfield battle based on these two formations.
And you see some of the players that make up these formations as well. They've been electric attacking-wise to start this season, but the question is, do they cancel each other out with some very good backlines as well? Of course, York Lions not really conceding any chances so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle of space. When you got two good teams, it's who can capitalize on the space, who can limit space, but who can also create a space. I mean, given the talent on display, I'd say the latter, there's going to be a lot more space created. But at the same time, if one of the teams can really shut down and be compact in the 4-3-3, maybe even make it a 4-5-1 at times, it could change the nature of the match.
Is that one in the midfield and taken back by Matthew Molikola. And Jane Vilfort on the ball now at the back line. And he's making his return to the starting lineup as well. The former Ottawa Fury member. A little bit of a throwback for any Canadian soccer fans who have followed before the men's national team really got popular. Played with Julian de Guzman on the Ottawa Fury. As that one played into the middle for Soji Olatoy. Long ball, and Guerreri will chase Guerreri up against Vilfort as Guerreri nearly got by, but Vilfort will handle that one.
It's awesome to hear references to Julian de Guzman because some kids might only know him as the TV soccer analyst. He was one heck of a player back in his day.
And some old memories of those Ottawa Fury days as well. Of course, Atletico Ottawa now making home at that same stadium. After the Ottawa Fury went down in a bit of an interesting collapse of that club. Not wanting to join the Canadian Premier League, which of course makes its way to York Lions Stadium. As a high press there, it takes the ball away from Vilfort. And the Lions will come up through the middle. Joe Mack spreads that one out wide for Justin Hendricks. Back to Mack. That one just a little too much. And taken by Luka Frankovic. He's not able to control. And on the far side, Mack. Pabla pushing up into the attack. As Justin Hendricks will drop back for Milo Djurdjic. And just unable to find that pass through is Isaac Bradbury.
Look for York to be very fluid in possession. I mean, they've got a couple of versatile players. I mean, Hendricks is one of them. He's slotted in at right wing, but as we've seen already, him and Justin Pablo have swapped positions, allowing Pablo to push forward as well. A very attack-minded fullback in Hendricks. He's not nominally a center back / center midfielder. So it's going to be interesting to see those little tactical nuances that York has at their disposal, because you look across their roster, they're very versatile, they're very flexible, and that's going to help them in a matchup like this.
As Jane Vilfort controls on his back line. And will leave for Sami Zebaduka. His father also playing a high level of soccer in his time with the Ugandan national ranks. Sami Zebaduka making the Ugandan U20 shortlist at one point. As Kevin Aspiro called back for the foul. That one taken back to Guerreri up top. Sebastian Guerreri all alone. Tries to find an option. Unable to find somebody else as Bradbury is hauled down at the top of his own box. Isaac Bradbury dropping quite a ways back.
Yeah, I mean, Bradbury so far this season known a little more for the offensive flair that he's brought. Scored last week out, like you mentioned, but they're a very nice defensive shield, and that's what York's going to need as well with the threats such as Gutierrez that Waterloo can provide in transition. They're going to need to get numbers behind the ball no matter who it is in the midfield, and there was Bradbury.
As that one sent over the top for Agostino Principato on the ball. The diminutive forward attacking up the right side will pull that one back to the top of the box. Hendricks on the left foot. Bounces off a body, and Sebaduka will retrieve. Sammy Sebaduka. And we'll send that back as York change their approach to this attack. As Jaden Vilfort sends his way through the midfield, but taken down by second-year midfielder Kevin Espiro. Second foul of the day.
Big set piece here for York. I mean, we talked earlier about the nature of these big games, space being at a premium. One great way to get it is off of a set piece. So curious to see if York throws some numbers forward. This could be an avenue for them to get some of their big guys at the back involved and maybe get an early goal to get the crowd in and settle the nerves a bit. So could be a big opportunity.
Milo Djurdjic finding the back of the net last time the York Lions played here. And he's once again up in the set pieces. Bradbury stands over this one. That ball finds its way in just wide and punched out by Jackson Vinci, but danger not gone as possession held by the York Lions all the way back to Alessio Carbone, who represented Canada at the under 15 level. Bradbury with a long ball all the way up and can't be settled by Matt Malikola, but pressure certainly not gone. Turned over to Principato. Down to Olatoy. Soji Olatoy, a little give and go. Olatoy at the top of the box in a tight space. And we'll leave that one to Principato. Olatoy in on goal. Tries to put that one through and swarmed upon by Jackson Vinci.
And that is a sublime link up there between Malikola at Principato and Olatoy there. Quick one-touch passing, sliding it into the pocket, but there, quick off his line is Jackson Vinci.
And now down the other way, it's James Arango to get by his man. Sends a cross in, has a Spiro at the far post, headed back, and Guerreri right in the midfield. A shot on the volley, and that'll sail high above the crossbar from Nicholas Antolich.
But both teams here showing so far the key to beating one another. Quick passing, a lot of movement off the ball. It's been a very electric start, really, through 9 minutes.
And Isaac Bradbury dropping back more than he usually does, allowing Agostino Principato to find that space just ahead of him, as we're already seeing some tactical shifts in the formation of the York Lions.
Very aggressive midfield there between Principato and Joey Mack, who are pushing up the field.
As James Arango on the ball. Guerreri in on goal. Guerreri tries to poke it past. And that skips just wide of the far post. And just 5 minutes into this one, you can see why he is so dominant and why he's the top scorer in the OUA this season.
I'd say a bit of a let-off there for York. A bit of a sloppy turnover in midfield, uncharacteristic, and that's why you don't want to let Waterloo run. I mean, Arango made a great, just curled ball. Gary there just shows good power, really, just to shoulder off, and then he goes for the deft technique of the toe poke just wide of the goal. If you're York, you have to feel very fortunate because he's not going to miss many of those in the form he's in.
2 goals in his last 2 games each, 4 goals on the season. Been easily the best forward in the OUA so far, even though it has been against a Laurier Golden Hawks team that is not exactly a championship contender. Very different outlook for this York Lions team as well. One that certainly wants to contend is James Arango with possession on the far side. Arango tries to poke it through. And taken back by Antolich. Over the top to Espiro. Sammy Sebaduka with a touch on it and shoulder-to-shoulder contact with Espiro. And that'll go out for a Waterloo Warriors throw here in the 11th minute. Perry Zorbris, the Oakville native. He's had an assist in both games this season so far. And has a long throw in his toolbox as well.
pace to start the match, really, through 12 minutes. I think it's going to be a theme throughout the game. So hopefully that for if you're York and Waterloo, you brought good, deep benches and you're willing to go to them early, because the pace so far has been very frenetic and impressive, really.
And Carmine Isako with one of the deepest benches in the OUA, carrying a very large roster every season, becoming a bit of his trademark each year here at York University. As that one not handled well by Carbone, nearly a Spiro poking it away, and a bit of a let-off for the York Lions.
Lex go for the Cruyff turn, just narrowly gets it away with Gutierrez looming, so close call there for York, again playing out the back.
Pablo through the midfield, pushing up from his right back position, and that pass not connecting to Soji Olatoy. Guerreri once again on the ball in a tight space, and we'll leave that one off. Has Espiro as an option. That through ball to Kevin Espiro, and he'll win the foot race before a clinical tackle there from Jaden Villefort to send that one out for a throw.
Again, Waterloo in transition, they're really getting the numbers forward. I mean, the front three of Arango, Guerreri, and Espiro have been very dynamic and front-footed. So it's good to see them funneling the ball into that regard, but equally a great tackle from Jane Vilford, who was equal to the speed and creativity there of Espiro.
Potentially a short corner kick with Mateus Mello offering short. Is that one to the near post and just poked away by Sebaduka. And out again for a Waterloo corner.
Waterloo coaching staff quite visibly frustrated with the corner routine that just underwent. Not sure if it was the ball or the runs in the box, but something has them quite infuriated. Look to do much better this time.
They'll go short to Mello, and another simple tackle there from Matthew Mollicola. And potentially this being the time that they send it a little bit longer into the box. Rito Janeski will leave for Perry Zorbas, who does have that long throw. He'll send it short to Janeski. As Espiro gets caught up once again, and York going to be able to move this ball back up the pitch after withstanding a little bit of pressure and a few corner kicks. Milo Djurdjic at the back. We'll play that one out and flicked on as Isaac Bradbury will chase. Unable to get onto it. And Sebaduka pushes up. Nearly bodied off by Kevin Espiro. But a physical affair this one's turning into, as well as the frantic attacking chances for either end.
Yeah, I think it's fitting there that Espiro checked his shins there to make sure he had his shin pads on, because he's going to need them if that sort of physicality keeps up.
Vilfort will poke that one through to Mollicola, and Olatoy gets on the ball, leaves for Principato. Principato's wide pass, not successful, and James Arango pushes over his man, and he's free as well, sends that one through. Guerreri would have been in on goal, but poked away. And Justin Hendricks on the ball. And taken back by Antelich. It's Espiro. He has options in the middle. Espiro sends the cross in. Guerreri at the back post, and that one cleared away by Milo Djurdjic, the fifth-year defender from Brampton.
Waterloo again, they have a formula, really. It's just compact in the midfield, get the numbers forward in transition, and it's working for them there. Another great opportunity for Espiro, sends in a dangerous ball, but Djurdjic clears well, because if there's one guy you don't want unmarked at the back post, that's Guerreri right now.
Guerreri been clinical so far this season and already showing that he can do it against one of the better back lines in this league as well. Getting into attacking opportunities so far today. Principato in a bit of a wider position than usual. Tries to get by Janeski. And we'll have to go reset. Outside of the foot pass makes its way to Sebaduka, who's driving into attack. Sammy Sebaduka through ball, can't find Justin Hendricks. And right back to Principato. Agostino Principato pushed over, but no foul. And called back on the play. Another fantastic chance on a free kick for York to potentially make something. They'll take it quickly. Hendricks. I'm not sure why York would take that one quickly when they have the height of the back line. They can throw bodies into the box.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always for a quick free kick. You saw it. Did catch Waterloo off guard, but the problem is, so was York. York was almost off guard.
As Olatoy brings it to the top of the box. That one centered for Principato. And unable to find that final pass in the final third. They're getting past that back line, but just not connecting to that chance to take a high-scoring shot. Molly-Cola with the long shot, and that won't threaten the keeper. Molly-Cola coming out of the Blythe Academy in high school, where a lot of top-notch athletes compete out at Downsview Park. TMU Bold playing on those fields as well.
Nice crowd continues to trickle in here at York Lions Stadium, which is nice to see. Great atmosphere for some Thursday night soccer.
As pulled back on that attack, and Isaac Bradbury looks as though he'll head into the book. Referee with a yellow card out. And indeed is a yellow card to Isaac Bradbury. Last game, the York Lions had the privilege of playing up with 11 men when Windsor went down to 10. And we got our first booking of the day, so we might be on to a shorthanded day already with the first booking within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Bradbury made a great challenge early in the match, looks like playing more of a number 6 right now underneath the very attacking-minded York midfield. But they're now on a yellow. He's going to have to be careful. And given how aggressive Waterloo have been in the midfield, you have to imagine they're going to target that, making it something to watch going forward.
That one sent almost in and taken back by Justin Hendricks. He has options. We'll chip that one over the top, and it's a foot race for Olatoy, but one by Jackson Vinci into the midfield. Principato taking it back and spreading it out to Sammy Sebaduka. Sebaduka tries to beat his man, but will reset to Bradbury. Sending that one into the middle for Olatoy. Justin Hendricks playing a bit more of a wider position as well, dropping back a little bit deeper as he sends that to Principato in the midfield. And you can see that this tight marking from Waterloo is making it very difficult for the York Lions, as that one tried to chip through for Justin Pabla as he's taken down by Luke Frankovich. There's a long ball up, nearly finds Guerreri. As this one in on goal, Guerreri almost with the breakthrough, but Carbone, no mistake to swaddle that one.
Nearly a unique assist there from James Aranga, who lost his boot and still got full contact with his bare foot on that ball. Not often you see that, and would have been quite a memorable ball had Guerreri been able to get on the end of it.
As ball comes through, Principato will control and leave to Olatoy. He has Sebaduka overlapping, and he'll use that. Sebaduka has options in the middle to Joe Mack in the middle, who has had a quiet performance today so far after coming over from the NCAA. Scored his first York Lions goal last time out on the rebound when Soji Olatoy had his penalty stopped. As as that one nearly stayed in. It hit off the corner flag and nearly stayed in on that far side.
So
We'll reset with Jackson Vinci.
So far, the game's settling in. We mentioned early off the top, dueling 4-3-3s, but looks like York's eager to have the possession, and Waterloo's eager to have the space in transition. So we asked what this matchup might look like. Those are the styles. So far, it appears Waterloo's getting the edge of that battle in the sense they're getting the space, as they almost do here. Great interception there by Jurgic. But yeah, so far, Waterloo getting that space. Now York were looking to break down what looks to be a very solid 4-3 in midfield and at the back for Waterloo.
And it looked like it could have been a break for the York Lions, but Sebaduka just getting caught on the turf a little bit. Joey Mack comes the other way. Losing out to Janeski. Out to Arango with speed and space. James Arango still pushing forward. Principato on him. Arango brings it wide, has options in the middle, and the shot goes on, but no problem for Alessio Carbone.
Yeah, well, Nicholas Antelich made a great run up the field after winning back the ball in midfield, but unfortunately, Arango just can't wrap his left foot quite around it. Ends up being a bit of more of a shot cross than a low attempt, but Waterloo, again, continues to have joy in the transitional moments.
As Jaden Vilfort at the back. As Soji Olatoy skips on through and leaves for Principato. Principato spreads that one up to Justin Hendricks. Hendricks with a bit of space to run. Sends that through to Olatoy. Olatoy on goal. Saved by Vinci. Danger certainly not gone as Hendricks leaves for Sebaduka. Sebaduka. As Jurgic goes back to reset. Vilfort pushing up into a bit more of the attack. Has options in front, and he'll lead to Joey Mack. Sent over the top and easily taken.
Interested to see how York's been adapting. I mean, their front five has been very fluid and very adaptable, and there's been a lot of movement, and I think that's key. So the way Waterloo set up, that back four is sitting right across the top of the penalty box. It's hard to beat them with through balls. It has to be quick passes, quick little diagonal balls, and Hendricks clearly got the memo there. That was a fantastic ball. Great run from Olatoy, who went from left wing to the right wing position there, but in the end, Jackson Vinci makes a key save for his team.
Jackson Vinci from Edmonton has a turnover there, poked away to Kevin Espiro. He has Guerreri as an option and won't be able to get it by Vilfort. That long kick up the pitch. And handled at the back by Janeski. And Mello will send that through to Espiro. Espiro in on goal with lots of space. Pulls that back for Guerreri, and that taken care of and cleaned up by Milo Jurgic. But danger certainly not gone, and this taken by Matias Mello. Kicked away once again. Mello back on the ball. We'll send that into the middle. Mello in on goal. Tries to chip that through, and a fantastic save from Alessio Carbone.
Well, some great play there for Waterloo. They're just missing that final ball, or at least it seemed they were. There was 3 opportunities there to cross, just not, Guerreri getting his wires crossed there with his wingers. He's running out. They're putting the ball in, and then he makes a run in. They put the ball out. But that was a lovely bit of, 1-2, falls to Mello in the box, and he goes for the dink, but there is a Cardone to come off the line and be really big, which for a goalkeeper like him, who's, he's a pretty big guy, but maybe not a little smaller than the average goalkeeper, to come out and make yourself big is key, and it worked there for a nice save.
And it looks like a little bit of discomfort for Jaden Vilfort here in the 26th minute. As Kevin Espiro will throw that ball out of play and reset with an Alessio Carbone goal kick.
Looks like Chris Molino here is set to enter for York, the defender, as so far it's early to tell in terms of the injury, but Vilfort looks to be in a world of pain right now, so can't imagine him continues, and it looks like Chris Molino is ready to go on the sidelines already.
And Chris Molino starting the last game with Vilfort unavailable, managed to achieve the clean sheet with very little going Windsor's way, but a much more dynamic attack for the Waterloo Warriors tonight than the Windsor Lancers were able to provide.
Another former NCAA transfer is Chris Molino, local guy, played back in the day for the Vaughan Azzurri, midfielder. So he's going to slot into a bit of an unfamiliar position, but as you mentioned, it's one that he's been playing in so far this season. So maybe that'll give York a little bit of a boost in terms of playing out the back to get Molino in there now.
And Vaughan Azzurri, of course, winning the League One Ontario in the men's Premier Division this year. They'll be in the Canadian Championship next season, which will be an exciting tournament with that one expanded with Vancouver CPL joining as well.
Could very well be seeing a few future Vaughan Azzurri Canadian Championship players out here on this. It's obviously early. They'll have to make the team next year, but could be something to watch out for. They could get a match against, say, CF Montreal of MLS, which would be one heck of a matchup, wouldn't it?
Especially with the way Montreal's been playing this season. MLS Cup potential in that club. As that one pushed up the far side. And Joey Mack on the ball. He'll bring it down to the touchline. Tries to send that one in and easily handled by Will Rattleband. Pablo sends that up to Olatoy and headed away by Sebastian Noftel, the Langley, BC native.
Yeah, so far Noftel and Will Rattlebound having a great effort at the back here. I mean, Waterloo defensively, they've been really solid. Center backs are winning everything in the air. So another big duel one for them there, and they're going to need it because York is really trying to break them down. They're high balls, low balls, lots of movement, and so far Waterloo's defense has been up to the task.
An in-swinger here from the York Lions. Is that one just a little bit far and unable to handle it? Was Chris Molino. Principato tries to poke that one through and chased on by Hendricks. As Jackson Vinci resets once again, and maybe Sebastian Noftel. He has played in League One Ontario, but potentially coming from Langley could be one of those players heading to the new Vancouver CPL team, set to play out at Trinity Western University in Langley.
Certainly going to be interesting. A lot of opportunities open up there, and we've seen right from the day one of the Canadian Premier League how important that U Sports 2 Canadian Premier League pipeline is. So going to be a lot of players to keep an eye on across of U Sports in general, and I think it's exciting time to play in the circuit, knowing that some of these guys have gone up to the professional level and really made a name for themselves. I mean, we've seen a few such as Joel Waterman even make it up to MLS in the national team. We've seen Victor Laturi move to Europe. It's an exciting circuit and partnership between the two.
So Giolatoy making the York United bench a couple of times this season as they went through some hardships. Never signed him after drafting him in the CPL U Sports draft. But certainly some York Lions Stadium moments making their impact in the CPL. One of those memorable nights here was Matteo DeBrienne last season with an exceptional strike. He's now with Valor FC. As that one turned over and Hendricks will chase. And poked back on the back heel to Joe Mack. He'll go 1-1 with Frankovic as Mack sends a ball in. Sebaduka pushing up. Sammy Sebaduka into the middle. Sebaduka with a strike. A diving stop. Danger not gone. Olatoy can't quite put it in.
Well. Another big save from Jackson Vinci, who hasn't been called upon a lot this game, but he's made two huge stops, and this time it's on Sammy Sebaduka there, who at left back catches Waterloo sleeping, just flies up the pitch, cuts inside, and does well to maneuver his hips and still get power on a near post shot despite being leaning back. So great attempt there from Sebaduka, but an even better save from Jackson Vinci, who has kept his team from going down here.
Jackson Vinci continuing the strong play of Waterloo goalkeeping that we've seen so far today. That one flicked on, Guerreri will chase. As taken down in his own end, and Milo Djurdjic will play it out to Sami Sebaduka. Djurdjic with the through ball. That one sent in on goal and nearly bobbled in by Luka Frankovic, the fifth year from Oakville, there to make sure it didn't make its way through.
Yeah, very nearly a moment of luck there after a great run from Justin Hendricks. You know, Frankovic clears it, hits Hendricks, almost goes in the net, but fortunately for Waterloo goes on the right side of the post. But near moment of disaster there for Waterloo, who's been otherwise excellent at the back. And
just walking in front of us, Jaden Vilfort, clearly in some discomfort, walking on his own, probably not able to come back into this one. As that one works its way down to Mack, unable to control. And taken there in the midfield by Nicholas Antolic. Antolic on the ball, up against Djurdjic. Antolic with the strike just off the crossbar.
Well, that's a close
and
call.
Taken by Kevin Aspiro on the near side. And Sami Sebaduka touches that one out for a Waterloo Warriors corner kick.
Nearly a moment there of magic from Antolic, he's been excellent in the midfield so far, making some hard tackles. This time there, it's Guerreri of all players, the striker dropping back, making the defensive intervention, plays it to Antolic, who just unleashes a rocket of a strike. His hips were closed.
As that one played short, ball sent in, nearly headed on. And cleared away by Joe Mack, and York will draw the foul. As Rito Janeski, the Whitby, Ontario native, called back.
But yeah, that latest attack sums up Waterloo. They win back the ball, they get numbers forward, and they get shots on target. But they're unfortunately not on target as they hit the post and went out. But Waterloo arguably having the better chances of the game. I mean, York has had a few of their own, but how ruthless Waterloo's been in transition. It's been fun to watch.
As Bradbury will draw back. And that one crossed the back line to Chris Molino, as he'll send back to Milo Djurdjic. Djurdjic plays that one up, has Olatoy up top. Olatoy unable to get on the end of it as that one's taken by Jackson Vinci. And Kevin Aspiro on the near side, going one-on-one with Sami Sebaduka, will drag that one on the inside before picked off by Agostino Principato as he moves the ball up to Joe Mack. As Milo Djurdjic will go all the way back to Alessio Carbone as the ball makes its way to the near side. Pablo with the ball up the far side. Will Rattleband unable to control it. And Guerreri will control up top. He has an option on the near side, but he'll spread that into the middle, and Olatoy will track back to find that. Sami Sebaduka pushing up the near side into some space. Sebaduka will control and just unable to really gain control of it and turns that one over. Perry Zorbas with the throw on the near side. And the Warriors look to build out of the back through Rito Janeski.
York settling into a 4-1-4-1/4-5-1 off the balls. They really try to limit what Waterloo's been able to run in the midfield here.
As James Arango pushes it up through the far side, he loses out. And the Lions will come back with it. Bradbury with space will send that all the way across the back line. And York being very patient in their build up out of the back as they get the ball to Soji Olatoy on the near side. And he'll exchange with Sami Sebaduka.
York just looking to get a good spell of possession here, really wear down Waterloo, who's been tireless in their effort, especially in the midfield. I mean, Mark Wharton's been like urging them on to keep their shape in midfield, and so far York trying to be patient to break them down. It's led to a bit of an interesting lull.
Bradbury once again in that pocket, nearly turning the ball over. Nicholas Antelich applying the pressure. And just a bit of a misstep there costs York the possession as Justin Hendricks wasn't able to handle. Perry Zorbas down to Kevin Espiro on the near side. He'll exchange with Mateus Meu. Down to Espiro. Espiro at the touchline, pulls that back. Janeski can't get a foot on it. And Sebaduka will build from the back once again for York.
Yeah, Miko Djurdjic again with the huge defensive intervention. He's been very big for York in a few moments there, especially on those crosses. He's been anticipating them well. He's been sticking out his legs, his long legs to get in front of him there, and his legs helped him in that one. That ball easily could have slipped behind and caused a problem, but he just got enough on it to stop Waterloo from grabbing a goal right before the half.
Sent into the midfield for Principato, unable to control it, as Melo will come back with it. Mateus Melo pushing into some space, brings it to his left. Melo tries to poke it through, and Djurdjic once again with the cleanup as that one brought back to Zorbas. Top of the box, down to Zorbas once again. Cross comes in, hanging at the back post, but pulled back, and that one just sent over the bar by Rito Janeski.
Nice little flick there at the back post from James Arango, who was calling for the cross. Didn't quite get it at first, but stayed with it. Just did well to get up and flick it to the danger area there. And that's probably one that Janeski would want back. Maybe rushed it, didn't realize how much time he had. Got a good strike on the ball, but just wrong side of the crossbar.
And Arango been quite involved as Melo will take that one, and a little nifty chip doesn't find its way to Guerreri up top. And Guerreri once again with the pressure on Alessio Carbone, sending that out wide and flicked over the top to Olatoy. Sebaduka on the ball. And flicked on through to Olatoy with acres of space to run into. Soji Olatoy pulls it back. And well worked defensively as Waterloo come up with the ball, and that one flicked into the crowd.
Waterloo looking to slow the tempo down is the message from their bench with 5 to go. They've been very happy with the pace that the game's been played at. They're comfortable with that, and as a visiting team, that's what you want.
As that back pass trickles on way back, and Carbone, if he didn't get a touch on that, that could have been disaster, but James Arango hops onto it, sends that ball in, and headed away by the York defender.
Well, nearly sort of top 10 moment that you don't want from Alessio Carbone there, but he just gets a finger to save himself. Not sure if he got caught on the wetness of the turf or something, but close call there for Waterloo, who nearly got a goal off of a moment of who knows what to call that.
As ball sent over the top, Antolic in on goal. Nicholas Antolic at the short side on the line, bobbles around, and Carbone just gets his hands on it to keep that one out, but that looked surefire to go in.
Wild sequence of events there. Antolic tries to jam it in the near post there, yet Cardone gets a good hand. The net pushes back a little. I don't know if he got a little help from that, but just strong enough of his hand despite Antolic's effort to slip it by him there. And Waterloo, again, getting the better of these chances. They're getting some good looks there, and that was a great one from Antolic, who's been making some fantastic deep runs from midfield.
Waterloo just look revitalized. They look like they're ready to go this season. They've looked at against Laurier. They're looking at against York as well. It's a complete new look. Guerreri has been there. Guerreri's done the job before up top, but it's a different look for this Waterloo Warriors team this year, and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they're hungry after losing in the quarterfinals of the OUA last year to TMU Bold, so they're going to want to come out and prove that they're more than that, and so far they've been good this season.
As up the right-hand side is Hendricks. Hendricks brings it down to the touchline. That one just poked by. And James Arango will come the other way with acres of space. 5 shots for him last match, sending the ball. Tries to get it to Guerreri, but once again, it's Milo Djurdjic standing in the way of Waterloo's attack. Mello on the ball, and he'll spread that out to Perry Zorbis on the near side. As Espiro dribbles through 2 defenders, brings it down to the touchline before Olatoy makes the tackle and puts that one out for a Waterloo Warriors corner kick late here in the first half. 0-0 between Waterloo and York here in the 44th minute. Matthias Mello standing short. That one sent into the back post and easily handled by Alessio Carbone. Last match between these two teams ending in a 1-0 win for the York Lions on October 6, 2019. So it's been a little bit of time since these two teams played each other. And the last win for the Waterloo Warriors, that was a little while ago as well. It's been a 20-game losing streak. That last game that the Waterloo Warriors won, coming back on September 18th, 2010.
12 years. I mean, a lot of these players were, in elementary school last time Waterloo beat York. So imagine what a win here could do for them on the road.
As Bradbury will control and send that one in, just headed away as Mello with space. And Principato just puts a little bit of pressure on him, making sure he can't make so much of a top decision as Espiro. Sent over the top. Guerreri all alone up top. And as we reach the 45th minute here into stoppage time at the end of the first half, both these teams with spells of chances, spells of possession. Waterloo certainly looking the better side through 45 minutes. As Hendricks controls in the middle, sends it out to Sami Sebaduka on the left side. As Sebaduka patiently waits before dropping back to Matthew Malikola. His cross skips all the way through to Pablo, but well cleared by Luka Frankovic, and that brings an end to the first 45 minutes. The first half in the books between the York Lions and the Waterloo Warriors. 0-0 after 45 minutes. We'll be back for the second half. You're watching York Lions Soccer on OUA TV. Welcome back into York Lions Stadium for the second half between the York Lions and the Waterloo Warriors. 0-0 after the first half, and just showing on the screen now, a visitor to the York Lions training session yesterday, Mark Anthony Kay, coming out to his alma mater.
Certainly awesome to see the former York Lion and current Canadian men's national team midfielder bound for Qatar there this year come pay a visit to his alma mater. Certainly the next Mark Anthony Kays and other players are trying out here to push and push to that next level. And so far, seeing the quality on display in this game between both teams, certainly a lot of potential on display. And so far, it's been demonstrated in a very solid 0-0 draw, one that despite the scoreline has been very entertaining. A lot of great chances on both teams, really.
And scoreless through 45 minutes. What do the Waterloo Warriors have to do to find the breakthrough, and what do the York Lions have to do to find their breakthrough?
Yeah, I mean, to start with the visitors, Waterloo, they just have to keep doing what they're doing. They're on the road. They're arguably making York play their way. They're dictating, not necessarily tempo, but they're dictating the proceedings, the organization, the shape of this game, and they're ruthless in transitioning, just doing everything but that final touch. So in their point, just keep up the defensive work, the 4-5-1 off the ball and burst numbers forward. Meanwhile, for York, it's just to be more patient in possession, really break down Waterloo. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Waterloo. They're going to defend solidly. So if you're York, take your time on the ball, get a lot of movement, and when the shot comes, don't miss it.
And for the Waterloo Warriors, we've seen these two dynamic attacking players, James Arango and Sebastian Guerreri, and Matthews Mellows at chances as well. But James Arango in particular, I would say he's probably the player of that first half.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really been the Waterloo double wide threat of James Arango and Kevin Espiro, but Arango in particular, just the way he's been finding the spaces, the pockets, and then, he's showing a good mix of physicality. He's eager to take on shots. He's trying to find, Sebastian Guerreri up front. So overall, it's been a very bright game from Arango, and I think it's been emblematic of the sort of work and spirit that his team's put in, really originating in midfield, where they've been dominant and winning that midfield battle that we said was going to be so important at the beginning of the game.
Arango, the number 17, playing on this near side during this half, and he'll be up against Soji Olatoye as well. Certainly an exciting attacking duo on the near side of the broadcast. And Guerreri, no goals in that first half. He scored 2 in each game so far. Is he going to get the brace this one?
We'll have to see. I mean, he had a few flashes at the beginning of the game. Otherwise, a quiet half, as York obviously got the scouting reporter trying to keep him from running into the channels, running into those half spaces that he loves to play in. Maybe not a conventional number 9, one who likes to run and drop a little deeper. But, maybe he'll find a little bit of that space now, especially as York tries to push up, continues to break. There's going to be space for Waterloo in the counter, and that's where Guerreri might benefit.
As Pablo will play that one to the inside for Milo Djurdjic. And out to Sammy Sebaduka in the left back position, playing it centrally to Jayton Pablo, who's shifted a little more centrally. And taken by Joe Mack in the middle. Joe Mack out to Olatoye on the near side. Soji Olatoye one-on-one. Centers for Mack. And Mack will have options, a little give and go with Pablo. Pablo against Frankovic, and Frankovic, the captain of this Waterloo Warriors side, will make sure that one doesn't make its way through. And a high defensive line from the York Lions holds this one in play. Principato on the ball. Milo Djurdjic in midfield has a few options. We'll play that one up to Joe Mack as he's pushed over by Risto Janeski. And a set piece opportunity for the York Lions. But it doesn't look like Milo Djurdjic will go into the box.
York again happy to keep possession on these set pieces, preferring just to keep hold of the ball and play short, which interesting considering the size that they have.
As that one down to Mack, a little pull back. Joe Mack sends that one in and just taken with no worries from Jackson Vinci. And Vinci taking his time at the back to send this one up. As we'll have to get a new ball in play, as that one has made its way not quite to the parking lot, but certainly well far of the field.
Takes a bounce off the shipping containers that York United has repurposed into suites for their CPL matches. Might have to be an experience worth considering for York University games. Wouldn't it be fun to get some of your friends into one of those suites, wouldn't it?
That wouldn't be too bad. And of course, the York 9 branded seats on the other side as well, a club that technically hasn't existed for a few years at least. Now newly rebranded to York United, has moved up the right-hand side. The Warriors continuing to push through and taken by Soji Olatoy.
Olatoy here so far has swapped flanks with Matthew Molacola here. Interesting tactic given that Olatoy was having good success on the left, but maybe wanting to switch things up and get Molacola more involved on the left with the overlap threat of Sami Sebaduka. Olatoy gets shifted over as he tries to find joy on the right now here.
A lot of agility when Sami Sebaduka and Soji Olatoy are playing on the same wing, and now having that pace and that agility, that threat down both sides, potentially paying off for Carmen Isako's side as Sebaduka cutting into the top of the box now. Sebaduka will lay off. That one finds its way to Principato, but he certainly offside if he gained possession of that. And Jackson Vinci making no problem. As Risto Janeski drops back into the midfield and can't quite connect on his pass. As a high press once again as Jayton Pabla holds off Mello. And Chris Molino will build from the back. Sami Sebaduka up the far side has options as he'll drive into space. And Isaac Bradbury on the ball. A nifty little step over to get by his man, but not quite home free just yet. Good hold-up play from Isaac Bradbury to get to Joe Mack in the midfield. As Isaac Bradbury in a more attacking position sends that one centrally to Molly Cola. And Guerreri will chip it over to find Arango. James Arango in on goal. Does he cut it back? Brings it into the middle. And Alessio Carbone will dive on top of that one.
Great ball there from Sebastian Guerreri, who I thought was shaping up to shoot with how high Cardona was off his line. Catches the York Lions defense by surprise.
As Joe Mack sends that one through, and Olatoy has a break. Soji Olatoy takes it on the far post and tipped away by Luka Frankovic, the fifth-year defender, showing his veteran presence at the back to send that one out for a corner kick.
Waterloo continuing to get big defensive interventions. I mean, Olatoy was home free. You'd back him to put that home in the near post off his stronger right foot, but a fantastic bit of tracking back there from Luka Frankovic, the fifth-year veteran defender. He's certainly stepped up big for his team this year, this game, in this back four that's just been so solid, so sturdy in this setup.
There's another corner kick for the York Lions, their fourth of the night. Still looking for the breakthrough. These two teams meeting once again on Sunday, 3:15 kickoff at Warrior Field. As Molino sends the kick in, out to the back post, headed on, and that one loops in. It's Chris Molino with the breakthrough off the corner kick. And once again, the York Lions finding goals off set pieces.
Well, this is what we talked about earlier in the game, a need to get those big bodies forward, and this time Chris Molino shows why that should be an effective strategy. Fantastic left-footed corner there from Matthew Molacola, just floats into the danger spot at the back post. Molino got up to it, he gets a header, loops it over Jackson Vinci, and now the red smoke is out for York Lions as they're riding this red wave to a 1-0 lead.
And a good fan turnout here as they really get into this one. Chris Molino heading home a corner kick from Matt Mollicola.
Chance of, if you're a York Lion, clap your hands ringing out here. Certainly no shortage of those in the crowd tonight.
But Waterloo right back at it, sends that cross in. It's Guerreri. Can't quite get over it, and that one sends over the crossbar.
That's a big goal for York, because we mentioned heading into half that they're the ones that needed to really change the terms that the game was being played on. It was all on Waterloo's terms, and so far this half, York's look a lot better, and obviously this goal helps that. It's deserved based on how they've changed the tempo of this game, and all of a sudden that puts onus on Waterloo now to be the ones that can break down York and push and really get numbers forward. It's obviously there. We just saw Guerreri inches away from putting one home, but now the onus is on Waterloo to respond.
As Sebaduka drives through the midfield and gets it out to Mack. Long ball, find its way to Luka Frankovic, who will look to build out of the back for Waterloo. And Frankovic on the ball once again, opts not to go to Janeski. And a long ball up, can't quite make its way all the way across the pitch, as Isaac Bradbury hops on it with a bit of space. Bradbury flicks it over to Sebaduka on the far side. Sammy Sebaduka at the top of the box. And 10 men behind the ball right now for the Waterloo Warriors. Only Sebastian Guerreri being the outlet. As Soji Olatoy has gone down in some discomfort here on the near side.
Meanwhile, for Waterloo, looks like Kevin Espiro might have ran his race. He waved off the Waterloo bench earlier. He'd gone down for a few minutes, but now it looks like they're bringing in Nick Noble-Silla to replace him, because it appears he's dealing with some sort of calf issue that just won't allow him to continue.
And Espiro has made quite the impact so far today as well. And he will walk off the far side, as Nick Noble-Silla comes into the game.
A big moment for him as well. It's probably going to get slotted in that right wing. With Waterloo needing goals, he could be a potential difference maker as they try and get not just a result back for this year's standings, but try and snap that lengthy losing streak against, or winless streak, against York.
And a worrying substitution for the York Lions, as Soji Olatoy has to come out of this game. And Marcus Brooks making his way into the game at right back, as Jayton Pabla looks as though he'll shift into the right midfield position, once occupied by Soji Olatoy. And that's a big miss for the York Lions, not having the quality of Olatoy for the rest of this one.
Yeah, he's been a threat all night long. I mean, he's been getting up and down both sides of the field. I mean, it's going to be a big opportunity for Pablo, just because he's pushed up so much, and he's even played a bit of wing in this game. But certainly to lose a player like Olatoy forced through injury just 56 minutes in is never ideal.
And you would hope that Olatoy isn't injured for very long either. It did look like he was in some quite discomfort. But a critical player to the success of this York Lions soccer program. That ball sent across the back line. As taken by Mello on the far side. And Bradbury comes up with it once again. We'll put that into the middle for Joe Mack. Sliding tackle doesn't bring him down, but Mello then brings him down on his own and will be called back for the foul and a yellow card, the second yellow card of this match.
Yeah, and I think his growing frustration there, slamming the ball down, is kind of an indication of where this game's gone for Waterloo. They were dominant in the midfield in the first half, but ever since the break, York's been very tidy, very tight in their play in the midfield, and they're really frustrating Waterloo. And that goal was an example of that, but we're seeing it now in open play as well. So Waterloo, frustrations mountain. It's going to be a big 20 minutes for them here if they want to get back in this game, because I still think they can, but if they continue to let York dictate this game and get the better of them, it could be a long night.
As Sebaduka now cuts into the midfield, will leave for Mack, but picked off by Malikola as that ball comes in for Principato, who got quite high up there. You don't usually see Agostino Principato reaching those heights as the target man. Bradbury heads that one down to Principato, who will leave back for Bradbury, and turned over as Antelich moves the ball up with acres of space to run onto. Nicholas Antelich with a long shot, that one sailing high of the crossbar.
Well, that's the sort of intent that Waterloo needs if they're to get back in the game. Not sure that's the attempt they should go for, especially Sebastian Guerreri making a carving run. He's probably the one you'd want running into space in that area, but good intention from Antelich, who's been very bright this game. Obviously hit the post earlier in the first half. Just can't repeat that magic in the second half here.
Very well might have snuck in the first half with the way the net went off its moorings. As that played back to Alessio Carbone. Pressure applied by Sebastian Guerreri. And a nifty little move there, but doesn't pay off as Sami Sebaduka brings the ball out of play. Onto the right side, that one sent in. Guerreri up for it, tipped over the bar by Carbone, and that's really the first time he's been tested, not just this game, but this season.
Yeah, but that's twice now for Waterloo. They've hit the woodwork. First it was Antelich in the first half. Now Guerreri, the danger man, gets a header off the crossbar. They're finally starting to get him the balls into the box, the service that he as a number 9 wants. And there he nearly makes York pay, but just the wrong side of the woodwork.
As that one sent over the top and headed away by Perry Zorbis. Looking for his third assist in as many games.
Yeah, that's more like it from Waterloo. We mentioned just a few minutes earlier, you've got to get the ball to Guerreri, got to get him the sorts of runs and crosses that he likes, those one-time finishes in there. That was nearly one that paid off. So all that to say, 30 minutes left in our York versus Waterloo soccer doubleheader, and there's all still to play for.
Chris Molino with the opening goal off a corner kick sent in by Matthew Malikola. As Justin Hendricks just pushed over. Sebastian Noftel maybe a little too keen to stop that quick kick. And taken by Frankovic at the back. Calm at the back will put that on the outside of his foot and turn it over. Marcus Brooks. Mack on the ball. And interestingly, Principato waiting in the box for a cross to come in, and at 5'4", certainly not the target man you would imagine. As James Arango gets a foot in there and is off with speed. Brooks on his heels, pulling on his jersey, and Brooks will win the ball. Referee says no foul. Certainly looked like there might be something there.
Yeah, I mean, that was some good bit of maneuvering there by Brooks, who just got enough of the hands in there where it was not a foul, but just maybe grabs the right part, and nearly for Waterloo.
As Antelich sends that one up for Guerreri, has Arango as an option. James Arango, and swept up by Chris Molino.
Pace is certainly picking up between both teams. I mean, what I like from York is they're up a goal, and they're not satisfied yet. They're still throwing numbers forward, and that's great, certainly from a neutral standpoint. That means Waterloo's getting space to run into the counter. So it certainly feels like there could be some chances and some goals left in this game, which, with 30 minutes to go, lots to like with that.
And even a tie for Waterloo would put an end to that 20-game losing streak, as that one sent into the back post. Janeski not there to finish. but he'll retrieve the ball and send it back to Zorbas. Cross comes in, Zorbas gets it to Guerreri, and Guerreri just unable to get a foot to it. But pressure is certainly not gone, as that one's taken back by Will Rattleband. Janeski, his pass picked off, and Malikola moves the other way. He has a streaking Justin Hendricks just next to him, as that one skips over the line and out for a York Lions throw. And even though Sebastian Guerreri scored 4 goals in 2 games last weekend, it wasn't the top scoring weekend in U Sports. That going to Michael Henman at the University of Northern British Columbia. 2 straight hat tricks. 3 goals on Friday night, 3 goals on Saturday night as well, as he put in exceptional performances in Canada West competition. And kind of out of nowhere for Michael Henman as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just been a lot of hat tricks really across all the divisions. The OUA women's as well saw a few hat tricks in their regards. It's a bad month, I guess, to be a hat owner who likes to go watch U Sports soccer. So it's been good to see the forwards getting in amongst the goals, because obviously that's what the fans love, and that's what it's always fun to watch from the neutrals. As
Joe Mack on the ball, spread out to Jayton Pablo with space on the near side, and Pablo not able to send something in as play blown down for some discomfort from Matt Malikola. And Malikola has been a strong performer tonight, but looks as though there might be a bit of cramping up for him.
Heavy challenge there again. Waterloo and York both not shying away from a bit of hard tackles, a bit of the dirty stuff, the dark arts off the ball. So again, not a game for any shyness in that, but for York, I mean, it's a tough tackle on Malikola here, but he has a chance to potentially make Waterloo pay, because a set piece here, that would certainly be a tough blow for Waterloo to stomach.
And Matt Malikola standing above this set piece, as he'll go for it to make it 2-0. Malikola with the free kick off the wall, but he'll regain possession to Isaac Bradbury, to Principato now. Chips that one through, and that shot curled into the top corner by Justin Hendricks. An exceptional finish coming from the second motion of the set piece of the York Lions.
Well, it doesn't get hit much better than that from Justin Hendricks. York, credit to them, stays alert after missing the initial free kick. Ball falls into the middle to Agostino Principato. Calmly waits, opens up the space, slots it to Hendricks. A little shimmy shake, cuts it onto his right foot, curls it right into the side netting. Some might say that's where mom hides the peanut butter. Well, certainly if he likes peanut butter, he found whatever he desires in that top corner with a fantastic curled shot.
Fantastic goal from Justin Hendricks to make it 2-0 for the York Lions, and a mountain to climb for the Waterloo Warriors, as Matthias Mello brings the ball through the midfield.
Again, heartbreaking goal to give up for Waterloo. Now down 2-0. 25 minutes to go. It's going to be a tough hill to climb. Can they at least snap the 20 straight losses? But it's certainly not looking likely after 2 moments of magic from York off set pieces, an area which we targeted at the beginning of the game, and has obviously been one that pays off for Carmen Zasako's side. Well drilled as always.
Has brought up the right-hand side and switched over to Arango. A nifty first touch to settle that one. Arango looked to take a shot, and Frankovic regains possession. Guerreri sending the ball into the back post, headed on. That one floated in off the crossbar.
Matthias Mello off the bar again. Make it 3 for Waterloo. Maybe they're just cursed. Maybe there is something going on between them and York, because they just can't get the bounces right now. 3 times off the woodwork. One could have given them the lead. One could have tied it up. One could have rescued and made a game out of it. So bit unlucky for Waterloo, who continues to push, but just not getting the ball into the nestle of the net.
As that one headed on in the midfield and taken back by Isaac Bradbury, as he'll drive into space, trying to make this a 3-0 lead for the York Lions and put this game away. And Pablo getting in on that challenge, but called back as Nicholas Antelich wins the throw. Oh, it is in favor of the York Lions. Interesting. As a substitution for the Waterloo Warriors.
Substitution for both teams. For Waterloo, number 14, Johnny Culver comes in for number 22, Michael Pagelli. And for York, number 21.
Josh Caldwell making his way into the game.
28. Matthew Maricola.
Meanwhile, Michael Petitti comes in this game for Matthew Molicola. So a bit of M for M there, action M and M if you want to, if you're a candy lover, as York continuing to want to chase the sweet stuff that are goals that there certainly are flowing for them right now.
And Michael Petitti with a strong performance last time out against the Windsor Lancers as well. That one headed on by Hendricks. And well handled as Isaac Bradbury unable to judge that throw. And taken by Mello, but after Bradbury and Guerreri getting caught up a little. Some fantastic hair in that challenge.
Certainly some good shampoo routines, I'd imagine.
As Principato wins that one back to Hendricks. And they'll move the ball out wide to Pablo. And Frankovic will see that one out of play as it hits off the corner flag.
Looks to be called for a corner.
And looks as though it was called for a corner kick. Mateus Mayo having a discussion with the official. Not often you see the ball go off the corner flag like that and bounce back into play. Because it did look like it was going out for a goal kick, but that might be...
I think it was a corner, but Mateus Mello fouled in the middle of the park, and given that he's already on a yellow, referee giving him a bit of warning, saying, hey, I'll let you run for now, but one more of those and you might be getting an early shower. So it gets called back for foul. Nearly was an interesting corner, which York, I'm sure, would have loved given their earlier goal from that set piece.
This one played to Pablo on the near side, just flicked up, a little miscommunication. As Caldwell unable to control.
You know, it looks to be another sub here for Waterloo as they try to bring in some more bodies to try and just get this result back.
Matthew Mills coming into the match for Sebastian Guerreri, so definitely a different look up top as Matthew Mills comes into this one, the second-year physics student from Waterloo. Marcus Brooks with the throw up the line. That will just trickle long and taken with no problem by Jackson Vinci.
Yeah, tough night at the office for Guerreri. Hit the crossbar. Had a few good chances for, Waterloo. 4 goals, like you mentioned, in the opening weekend, but just unable to find the net here. I'm sure it's a good chance for him to regroup, get the last 20 minutes off, and try to get out and on the goals next time around.
That one taken by Antelich, playing a little more of an advanced position. And not really an outright striker there anymore for the Waterloo Warriors either, with Guerreri making his way off the pitch.
Yeah, Waterloo, looking to reinforce in the midfield, it looks like, playing a little deeper. It's going to be interesting strategy. They do need some sort of focal point up the pitch given the state of the game, and they'll probably want to go direct here. So for now, it looks like Nicholas Antelich, is slotted in, and he's had some good looks from midfield, so maybe that's a bit of a different avenue for Mark Wharton's team to get back in the game. But certainly he's trying things out at this point to snap, get any sort of goals, and try and snap this losing run against York.
As Joe Mack unable to control, that one flicks out. Matthew Mills with his first few actions of the day. Pablo finds Principato in a tight space there, Agostino Principato, and it'll find its way out to Marcus Brooks. Sebaduka on the far side can't quite find his striker up top, and we haven't seen as much involvement from Sami Sebaduka this half.
Yeah, I mean, he was excellent in the first half, the amount he got forward. Obviously now the 2-0 lead, he isn't pushing forward as much, probably keeping his legs, especially in transitional moments, given that Waterloo has looked their best. So it's just meant he's played a little deeper on the pitch, which good news if you're Waterloo's Perry Zobris, who hasn't had to look up and deal with that threat so much, but it's bad news if you're Waterloo's wingers, who have to go against now Sebaduka playing in a deeper position.
Sebaduka on the ball once again, involved in every aspect of the game today, and they'll bring it all the way around the back line and all the way back to build out of the back, maintain possession with just over 18 minutes to play. 73rd minute here at York Lions Stadium. Ben Steiner alongside Alexander Gonge-Ruzik. York Lions leading 2-0 as Michael Petiti looks to burst on through. Petiti applying the pressure. Vinci will clear that one, as Pablo loops it over his defender, and Antelich dropping back once again. Vinci spreads the ball to the far side, but not able to control it was Sebastian Noftel.
Waterloo, unfortunately, looking like a team that's run out of ideas after this York surge. I mean, again, in the first half, it was all Waterloo, but so far this half, they haven't been able to impose themselves as they have been, and it's made for a very frustrating last 20 or so minutes from Mark Wharton's side.
The Warriors, with the goal of making playoffs this season after falling to the Bold in the quarterfinals last year, as Zarango up the near side skips through two defenders in the lead for Frankovic. Frankovic, top of the box, will square that, and the ball makes its way back to him. Arango with the cross in up to Frankovic with the long shot along the ground. Didn't catch that the way he would have wanted to.
Certainly one the Waterloo captain would like back. He's been getting up the field. He's had a dangerous right boot. He certainly tried to use it in possession there. He tries to go for a shot, but one he'll want back.
Just catching it on the inside as Marcus Brooks sends the pass above. And Mello with space in the midfield. And Waterloo just trying to find something. Avoid the clean sheet or potentially work the 2-2 draw. Sent into the box, Antelich, unable to win that header. As Frankovic gets back on the ball. Chips it over the top and cleared away by Chris Molino, the opening goal scorer, proving to be the winner right now. But waves of pressure coming from the Waterloo Warriors. That one laid off to Matthew Mills. Sends that across for Luka Frankovic on the left-footed strike. Easily handled by Alessio Carbone. And looks to be a bit of tightness from Matthews Mello, the Toronto native, with 2 goals and 5 assists in just 9 games last season. And he's been involved throughout the match tonight, but looks like that might be all he has to offer.
Yeah, looks like Waterloo warming up some subs just in case. 15 minutes ago, obviously, if a player's unable to continue, you'll want to keep them fresh as the play restarts while all of them are still drinking water.
Bit of a quick restart there as Joe Mack with a nifty little turn, and the fans liked that one to send that one up for Michael Petiti.
And that allows time for that sub to be confirmed as Aiden Forsyth is in. It looks like he'll slot in the midfield as Mateus Mello on a yellow card, just dealing with that knock, gets to come off.
In Forsyth, the third-year midfielder from London, Ontario, made 10 appearances last season, starting 7 of those as he makes a substitute appearance here today in the 77th minute.
York on their end look to be making a sub as Agostino Greco is kind of looking ready to come in, the York number 8. Looks like he'll probably slot in the midfield as well as they try to shore things up and see this result over the line.
Lots more soccer coming up in the OUA as well as the Western Mustangs visit the Laurier Golden Hawks. But first, a few more chances here today as Joe Mack brings it to the top of the box. And he'll pull back. He has Petiti and Principato as options in the box. Leave for Pablo. Taken back by Arango. And all the way back, York will reset and reapproach this attack. Just maintaining possession is split by Chris Molino out to Sammy Sebaduka. Carlton Ravens also visiting the RMC Paladin in what will surely be a high-scoring affair as the Brock Badgers face the Windsor Lancers, McMaster face Guelph, and Ontario Tech takes on the Trent Excalibur as that one poked on through. A shot from the top of the box hits a body in front, and Carbone with no problem as he grabs that one and will wait and handle this one for just a little while longer than the ref might like.
York again controlling the tempo here. I think they're very comfortable with how this result has gone, and you can't blame them. I mean, up 2-0 at home, especially after how the first half went, to come out as strong as they did in the second half. I mean, lots for Carmen Sacco to be happy and go over, in the film room after. So certainly looks like a comfortable way for them to grab another victory and potentially make it 3 for 3 on the year.
These two teams meeting again on Sunday before the Guelph Griffins make their way to York Lions Stadium the week after.
It's going to be a big game for Waterloo on Sunday in particular. I mean, we've mentioned, unfortunately, if you're a Waterloo fan, you might
And
not.
a big pullback there as Josh Caldwell got his arm caught on Joe Mack. Somewhat shocked he's not going into the book with that one.
Yeah, a bit of frustrations there for Waterloo, and that kind of leads to the point. We unfortunately, if you're a Waterloo fan or player, student watching this, we hate to bring up the streak so often, but it's obviously something that's there. You have to imagine it's something as a group they want to end. So a chance to do it at home on Sunday could be a nice way to end that 12-year run. So something for them to channel this, maybe hunger, anger they might have from this game and bring it to the next one here.
As Nicholas Antelich makes his way out of this match, he showed well in this game throughout 80 minutes, and coming into the game, Octavian Siotrika played 8 games last season and scored his first OUA goal last match. As that one sent on through to Hendricks. He has Petiti in the middle. Justin Hendricks pulls that back to the top of the box to Agostino Principato. Pablo in the box on the near side. Cross comes in. Petiti can't get on it. And Bradbury maintains possession. Pablo once again on the ball. And 2 hands to the back of Marcus Brooks was James Arango, but not called for anything. There's a chance of Let's Go Lions ringing out from what's been quite a strong crowd here at York Lions Stadium today. They've seen 2 good performances from their 2 teams. As Luka Frankovic takes the ball back, and you can see the involvement from both these coaches, urging their teams to attack and both see this result out. As Frankovic sends a cross in, and that one will sail high of the bar. And Mark Wharton certainly not looking too pleased with that attack. Michael Petiti with a nice first touch. Sends that one on through and called back for offside. Justin Hendricks thought he had held up his run just enough. Called back for offside. As Matthew Mills on the ball once again. Cuts that one back. Looks for the cross at the back post. Arango not able to get there. And controlled in the midfield. Out to Luka Frankovic, the captain of this side, looking to lead the comeback. A late comeback at this point. It's put down to Sio Turka. Frankovic looks for the cross. Nobody at the top of the box, but danger certainly not gone as Matthew Mills will hop back on the ball. And controlled at the back line, but Michael Petiti with some pressure. He'll get the ball. He's all alone. He has Agostino Principato streaking up the middle. And Petiti will hold the ball and hold possession. Just clipped on by Will Rattleband. And having to go back all the way to Carbone and reset are the York Lions. Out to Marcus Brooks. He'll chip that one over, but just a little wide. And Luka Frankovic will reset for the Warriors. And it's coming down to the business end of this one for the Waterloo Warriors. If they want to find their way back into this match, they'll need one quickly. Trailing 2-0 as we approach the 85th minute here at York Lions Stadium. Goals from Chris Molino and Justin Hendricks. As Mark Wharton continues to urge his team forward out on the near side, just in front of the Warriors bench to the top of the box for Arango. He'll stick his foot through it, hits a body in front, and had some spin on it, but Carbone able to keep a hold of that one. And Sebaduka tries to play it out of the back, unable to. As Waterloo continue to hold a high line and really press against these York Lions in the final moments. As ball sent up, headed away by Sebaduka. Retaken by Josh Caldwell now on the throw.
Meanwhile, York here trying to see out the match. Double substitution coming from them, as Frank Ross Di Matteo is going to come in, and it also looks like Mudassir Mutaj, who scored last game for York, is going to come in as they make a double sub and continue to bring the fresh legs and continue to try and work Waterloo and make sure that it's a tough end of the game. So far, it looks like just the Di Matteo sub is going to be made, though, however, and that is for just Jayden Pabla, who had a strong game at the right back for York.
And Frank Ross Di Matteo offering some fresh legs as well, as Pablo looks slightly confused of the fact that he has to come out.
York being able to play with 12 there after a bit of the miscommunication between the referees in York.
Well, York did end the last game up a man. Maybe they were just used to that at this point. Of course, that being 11-10.
Can't fault them for trying.
And a valuable set piece here from Waterloo as well. If they can find something here, then a comeback and at least a draw is very much on the cards. As they've got what size they do have all in the box, only one man back. As an outswinging free kick expected to come. And it does come. Swing to the back post, unable to get on the end of it, and space to attack for the York Lions now. That one sent over to Principato. It's a foot race now for Principato. He has Sebaduka on the near side. Has chipped over the top. Sebaduka gets on the end of it, and that headed away. And coming back the other way is Matthew Mills, loses out to Bradbury. And Michael Petiti will calm things down for the Lions as they try and see this result out. Sebaduka centrally put to Bradbury. Lots of space. Sent to Frank Ross. Di Matteo. Cross comes in. Petiti can't get on the end of it. And Di Matteo forces the corner.
York flying right now. I mean, Waterloo just trying to get anything back in the game. They're pressing, and York is just almost for fun, just playing around one touch, playing into the pocket, playing out wide. Nearly grabs a third goal. I mean, if you're Carmen Asaka, you have to be ecstatic with this performance that his team has come up with in the second half, grabbing the second goal and doing so, or grabbing a 2-goal lead, and doing so in style.
And York taking their time with this corner kick out to Michael Petiti as they'll leave it in the corner, just trying to kill off some time as we reach just past the 88-minute mark.
And that will also allow Mudazar Mutaj to finally, it appears, make that sub and even eat up a bit more time and maybe give him a chance to make it 2 goals from those last 2 games should the sub go through. And it is indeed 1 goal scorer. Last game comes on, the goal scorer from today, Justin Hendricks, comes off after a very strong performance from him on the wing.
And Mudazar Mutaj offering a lot of pace late in this one, potentially testing the Waterloo Warriors if he gets a chance. And 1 shot last game and 1 finish, as that's a lazy pass out of the back as Will Rattleband turns play over to the York Lions. Marcus Brooks sends that one down the line for Petiti. Petiti unable to control. And to Principato with a bit of space. He'll spread that one out wide. As the cross comes in, Petiti at the near post, unable to get up for it. And Petiti called back for the foul as we reach nearly the 90th minute here at York Lions Stadium. The York Lions up 2-0 on the Waterloo Warriors. If you had to pick a man of the match for both sides, who are you going for?
Well, always a tough task. But on my end, I am going to go for Waterloo to start. I think Nicholas Antelich was a very commanding force in the midfield, had some great chances, made some hard tackles, especially in the first half. Give him a shout. Meanwhile, for York, there's a lot of deserving options, but I'm going to go for the sub, Chris Molino, to come in at center back after a tough early injury to Jaden Vilfort, to hold it down so far, keep a clean sheet, and get a goal. I mean, that's not much. It doesn't get much better than that from a center back.
Well, might that be commentators' curse saying clean sheet before the game is actually finished? At least you didn't mention a goalkeeper.
I said a potential clean sheet for now. I made sure there's...
You still mentioned the word.
It's not hockey. You don't throw out the shutout word as they do in hockey. But good thing this isn't hockey. We can get away with it.
As Arango controls that one flicked on, and a valuable set-piece opportunity for the Waterloo Warriors moments after the word shutout uttered on the broadcast. As Nicholas Noblechila standing over this free kick. Looks like he'll take it with his left foot, and outswinger expected. Potentially something for a big body like Luka Frankovic to attack. But he'll go short with it to Matthew Mills. And Arango gets back on it. Arango into the box, chips that to the far post, and just unable to connect. But still in play, chipped back in. And Sebaduka comes up with it, and it's a break for the York Lions as Mack will slow things down. Lead back up to Sebaduka as he's pushed off, but maintains possession out before it goes out of play for a York throw. That's into Principato up the left-hand side. No options in the box for him. as Principato will put that one back for Mutaj. And the final whistle goal goes, not much added time at all. And the York Lions see out a 2-0 victory. They've now scored 11 goals on the season, conceded none. Another shutout for Alessio Carbone as the York Lions defeat the Waterloo Warriors 2-0. Waterloo handed their first loss of the season.
Yeah, I mean, excellent day at the office for both York soccer teams. I mean, 5-0 across aggregate. Tough visit for Waterloo into York, but York on both men's and women's side showing that they're for real. The men continue to stay undefeated, push up the table. The women obviously picking up a big result earlier. Overall, it doesn't get much better than this in terms of in front of a great crowd as part of the early school year activities. Fantastic night of football. Cannot complain, and at the end of the day, 2 deserved results.
And an exceptional goal from Justin Hendricks to make it 2-0. It was a set-piece goal from Chris Molino off the corner kick to make it 1-0 as the York Lions pick up their 3rd win of the season, 2 over Windsor, now 1 over Waterloo. These two teams will meet later this week, Sunday at 3:15 p.m. at Warrior Field. You've been watching York Lions Soccer on OUA TV. For our entire crew, Alex Gogi-Ruzik, I'm Ben Steiner. Have a good rest of your night. We'll see you next time.